Hello, folks, and welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. Folks, I hate to beat a dead horse, but tonight I'm going to beat a dead horse, with all due respect to horses. Tonight's horse is the $250 billion industrial policy, corporate welfare, picking winners and losers, Chuck Schumer bait and switch. Schumer turned a procedural motion vote into this massive political pork barrel spending bill, and 16 Republican senators fell for it. By the way, Mr. Schumer yesterday filed a cloture motion to stop a filibuster for a vote as early as Monday, probably for a final vote on this monstrosity Tuesday. Now, some of the lowlights in the Schumer amendment include a $54 billion semiconductor subsidy bill, plus a $24 billion refundable tax credit, a.k.a. government checks written to semiconductor companies, plus $81 billion for the National Science Foundation, that's a doubling of their current budget, plus a $9.6 billion for the Commerce Department Standards and Technology Division, plus $11 billion for the Commerce Department's regional technology hubs, some very serious pork potential there, plus $50 billion for the Energy Department's Office of Science. Think Solyndra run wild, right? Plus $4 billion for the national labs, plus a measly $1 billion for distressed communities and labor markets. Got to have that one, right? Now, I thought Senator Rick Scott put it very well on Fox Business yesterday when he described this fiasco as Intel Corporation made $20 billion last year. So we're going to give them some money to build a plant. Then we're going to give them a tax deduction for the building of the plant. And then we're going to give them a tax credit for the building of the plant. And then they can keep doing business in China. Sound like a terrific idea? Not so much. As we discussed last night, the pandemic-related global chip shortage has actually given way to massive investment from the private sector, as much as $250 billion in private capital. And now the risk is overcapacity as chip prices are falling everywhere. Many firms are scaling back investment and scaling back hiring in response to this waning demand. Isn't that always the case? Just at the moment the private sector is turning, government comes to rescue by making matters much worse. In the Biden years, big government socialism has proliferated, but we should not imitate China's big government central planning communism. Our great American system has always been based on the innovation and creativity inherent in free market capitalism. We should be thinking about making all American industries more competitive by cutting tax rates and by deregulating, not some industries, but all the industries. And finally, the Republican Party is running on the inflationary evils of the Democrats' big spending and borrowing and money printing policy mistakes that have led our previously healthy economy into a stagflationary malaise. But if the 16 GOP senators who are wittingly or not providing Chuck Schumer with a filibuster-proof margin for a $250 billion spending bill, then they would be forfeiting the election year high ground. You know, either you're for inflation or against it. Either you're for big spending or against it. But you can't have it both ways. And that's my riff.